Hello, my name is Christina Bridges Glover, and this is going to be my analysis of the piece We Hold These Truths to Be Self-Evident, which is a piece made by Jeffrey Gibson in 2024 for the Venice Biennale, the U.S. Pavilion. So who is Jeffrey Gibson? He is a contemporary Native American artist born in 1972 in Colorado. He describes himself as a vibrant example of culture clash, being of Cherokee heritage, and also being part of the Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians, and also having an LGBTQ plus identity. Gibson is known for incorporating text, references to pop culture, activism, and indigenous aesthetics into his work. Today we find ourselves at the U.S. Pavilion for the 2024 Venice Biennale, which Jeffrey Gibson was featured as the solo artist for. The United States Pavilion is located at the Giardini site of the Venice Biennale, along with 23 other countries, and the Central Pavilion. The Venice Biennale itself is a global art exhibition held every 2 years in Venice, Italy, where countries are represented through national pavilions. Each country selects artists to showcase their work, reflecting its unique culture and contemporary art scene. In addition to this, each Biennale has its own theme and set of curators, this season being Foreigners Everywhere. Jeffrey Gibson's selection to represent the United States at the 60th Venice Biennale marks the first solo presentation of an indigenous artist for the U.S. Pavilion. I actually had the wonderful pleasure of being able to attend the Biennale over the summer. The photo on the left is me with one of his pieces inside of the pavilion, and the photo on the right is the UNT group that got to go on the study abroad trip to the Biennale. Gibson's installation in the U.S. Pavilion consists of 11 paintings, 9 sculptures, 8 flags, 2 murals, 1 video installation, all of which bears the title, The Space in Which to Place Me. Today, however, we are only going to be talking about one piece. We Hold These Truths to Be Self-Evident, a 2024 piece by Gibson, made of glass beads, plastic beads, nylon thread, acrylic felt, and a found punching bag. This piece is roughly about 10 feet tall. This piece is located dead center of the U.S. Pavilion in a rotunda that is highlighted in yellow on this map. The rotunda acts as a passageway between the left and right wings of the U.S. Pavilion. This 10-foot sculpture is commanding when you enter this brightly red painted room. Shadows of its silhouette are cast in multiples on the wall, and as you move around the sculpture, the text on the sculpture reveals itself to you. We hold these truths to be self-evident, an obvious nod to the opening line of the Declaration of Independence, yet stopping at the quote before the implied line that all men are created equal. The incorporation of text serves as a critique on the quote itself, for at its inception, the Declaration of Independence did not protect the rights of minorities, and all men were not proven to be treated as equal throughout the document. This is referenced throughout Gibson's Biennale Pavilion, with references to amendments in different court cases highlighting the rights of minorities. Jeffrey Gibson has become notable for his use of beadwork and fringe, and how he uses it to blur the boundaries between kitsch and fine art, and high and low culture. Gibson draws inspiration from the commercialized and easily digestible portrayals of native culture, often seen in roadside stands selling tourist memorabilia. These markets, which sometimes fetishize native heritage, fascinate him deeply. He admires the aesthetic ingenuity, masterful artistry, and entrepreneurial spirit of native makers. Gibson collects items from these markets, integrating them into his own sculptures, alongside also commercially produced fringe, beads, jingles that often come from Asia. Through this process, he highlights the participation of indigenous people in global, cultural, economic, and aesthetic networks. Another thing that is extremely noticeable in this piece are the diamond and triangle shapes in its patterning, and also its bright, vivid colorings. Jeffrey Gibson is a member of the Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians, and he does use their general symbolism for color and shapes in a lot of his artworks, some of which being black representing the West, the spirit of the death, white representing contentment, gold representing killed ancestors, death, aging, and greed, blue representing heaven and tranquility, red representing earth and land, pink representing love, green representing freedom and growth, yellow representing pride, and purple representing spiritual awareness. And then the shape of the diamond, which is present in this piece, representing the rattlesnake, which itself is a symbol of great power and strength, attacking only after warning. Another thing that is extremely interesting about this piece specifically is its use of the punching bag as a form. This piece specifically sits at 10.25 feet in height and is hung at a height that is higher than what would be functional for this item to be used as a punching bag, which is different from the way Gibson has installed his punching bag pieces in the past. This piece is also the punching bag of his that has the furthest resemblance from a punching bag, with the fridge adornment almost disguising it into a totem-like figure, even though totems are not used in his specific heritage. Past iterations of the punching bags Gibson has created have often left the Everlast logo as part of the sculpture. This iteration does not have that. Gibson started his punching bag series off of a therapist's recommendation following stress he was feeling about No DAPL, a grassroots movement opposing the Dakota Access Pipeline, due to concerns over Indigenous rights, environmental risks, and water protection. His therapist's recommendation was to get a punching bag and to yell his feelings and aggression as he hit the punching bag. He did this, and it became an inspiration point in his work that he has kept for almost a decade. Overall, this piece is a great central point for Jeffrey Gibson's U.S. Pavilion. We hold these truths to be self-evident, a vibrant personification of powerful commentary on democracy and representation. The piece underscores the ongoing struggle for equality and the need to honor diverse voices in shaping a more inclusive society.